Well, good morning to you. We do start with some breaking news here at 6 a.m. A scary situation up in Boulder. Police are looking for a man accused of sexually assaulting a CU student at an off-campus dorm.
And we have Denver 7's Veronica Costa on the Williams Village campus in Boulder. An awful situation, Veronica, especially since students just moved in this week, many of them freshmen at a time when they should be looking forward to college.
And that is just part of what makes this all so sad to listen to. You know, students, they just moved in 3 days ago on Monday for such an exciting experience to be able to get back, or for some of them, their first time really in college. And it all happened right here behind me. This is Williams Village. Police say that the sexual assault happened late last night, right around 10. They say the suspect got inside this off-campus dorm hall, knocked on that victim's door. The victim, who we know is a girl, opened her door and she was immediately grabbed by the neck and then sexually assaulted. So this morning we do have a description of what police say that suspect looks like. They're telling us that he's a white man, roughly college-aged, about 6 feet tall, with dirty blonde hair. He was described as wearing a white or gray shirt with sweatpants. And this morning, police also putting a reminder out there for every student who either lives on campus, even off campus. If someone knocks at your door, make sure you take a pause, you ask who it is before you go ahead and unlock that door and even open it. And then you go ahead and, once you know who it is, go ahead and open that door. And that's just for safety purposes, of course. We know CUPD is investigating this right now, and if you have any information at all that you can offer up, they do want to hear from you. You can give them a call over at 303-492-6666. We're in Boulder this morning. I'm Veronica Costa, Denver 7.
It's always in the back of your mind. Right?
I know, having been a college student at CU,
Yeah.
I used to be very scared on campus, especially at night. We know a lot of students going off to college and parents are worried about safety, so there is a safety app. It's free, not only available to students at CU, but any college campus.
This is pretty cool. We've actually already looked it up this morning. The Guardian mobile safety app allows you to set your friends or family members as guardians. So anytime you go for a walk or a jog or bike anywhere, you mark the start of your trip. Your guardians get a text showing your current location and how long it's expected to take. And then once you arrive safely, you then mark your trip as complete and the guardians will be notified again. Just search Rave Guardian in the Apple Store or Google Play. Lisa, how's it looking today?
It looks good. It's going to be a warm one for us now here at just about 6:03. We're in the upper 50s to low 60s right now. Here's the view from Westminster. You're going to find a lot of sunshine here early on. Winds are west-southwest at about 10 miles per hour. Pretty calm out there, and it's going to be a bright sunrise. Low to mid 60s for your kids here at the bus stop between about 7 and 8:30. And then by the time they get home today, it's a warmer day. Highs are going to be right around 88 to near 90 degrees. So it's a warm one of the warmest days that we're going to see this week. In the mountains, you're going to find some 70s, more 70s than 60s today. So warm today. Fast forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at a better chance for scattered storms and showers here in the mountains and across the plains. We'll see a few of those roll east, Jason, across the metro area tomorrow. I'll give you a better idea of our Friday and weekend forecast on the Super 7 Day coming up.
If you're out to the west side of town and use I-70 towards downtown, don't. I'll tell you why coming up in just a second, but I want to start with the serious crash that we've had here about a mile south of North Turkey Creek along 285. Take a look from the camera there, and so the traffic coming at us is the southbound side going towards Windy Point, Conifer. This is the traffic going away from us, going over towards C470, eventually coming out of the mountains, and you can see that there's activity on both sides. Pretty serious crash. Now, I've been told no serious injuries with this crash, but it looks pretty serious, and one lane's open, one lane's closed, so it will be a delay for you folks coming down towards C470 and getting out that way. We also have a big delay here on I-70. Look, just a moment ago, Air Tracker 7 was over, and look at this delay from Wadsworth through Sheridan, getting over through this late paving that is still hanging in there, and it doesn't look like they're going to get it open anytime soon. So start thinking about maybe I-76 is a good way to get over to I-25 and then head south and get around it that way.
Hope they're watching you this morning. Thank you, Jason. One of 3 teenagers accused of intentionally setting a Green Valley Ranch home on fire 2 years ago will be in court this morning. This was an awful scene. It killed 5 members of a family.
Yeah, and you may remember this image as well. 3 suspects. They were captured on surveillance cameras wearing masks the night of that fire.
5 members of the Giol family died, including 2 children. They were from Senegal. Beloved members of the community here. 3 others were able to escape after jumping out of a second-story window.
So as this case moves forward, we have Denver 7 Jessica Crawford joining us now live because the suspect is being charged as an adult, which is pretty serious, Jessica.
That's right. And what's happening at the courthouse behind me a little bit later on this morning is officially listed as an arraignment. However, Kevin Bowie could be taking a plea deal. So let's take a look back at how he got to this point. When we were here reporting on this case about 2 weeks ago, his defense attorney wanted the hearing pushed back because they were working on a plea deal. Prosecutors said they were taking a bit longer to get it ready because they don't often work with cases involving kids that are this severe. You've likely heard of plea deals on the news or on TV shows, but there are some main points I want to make sure you understand. These are agreements between defendants like Bowie and the prosecutors. Typically, the prosecutor offers to reduce the defendant's punishment by dropping charges or the severity of those charges. Sometimes the defendant agrees to testify against someone else, and there are other suspects in this case. Now, we don't know exactly what the situation is going to be here with Kevin Bowie, but it's likely that at 8:30, when he is expected in court, that we will learn much more about this case. Now, a little bit more on plea deals. Some say that they're controversial, and here is why. Critics say that there is the possibility with a plea deal that a defendant will not truly face the consequences of their crime. At the same time, others are concerned that plea deals could lead to false convictions. Live in Denver, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
Interesting. Thank you, Jessica. To a big story from a courtroom we'll be following throughout the day. A judge will consider whether or not to unseal the affidavit used to justify the FBI's search of Mar-a-Lago, the former home of President Trump.
There will be a hearing this afternoon. The Justice Department requested that the document remain sealed. It says the release could cause damage to an ongoing criminal investigation and could prevent witness cooperation. Trump has called for its release, though, saying it's in the interest of being transparent. Meanwhile, Trump is reportedly considering releasing home security video of the FBI search. We do have some good news this morning. It looks like our state's coronavirus numbers continue to drop and will continue to do so through mid-October. The latest numbers from the state health department show high immunity for the current variants of COVID-19 and a steady decline in infection rate. One member of the state's modeling team told our partners at the Denver Post they are preparing for a fall wave of the virus as in years past. It's just hard to gauge how big that's going to be right now.
Well, students are rolling into classrooms for a more normal start to the school year, but for Denver Public School students, there may not be enough teachers come Monday. So today the district is hosting 3 simultaneous job fairs. They're not just looking for teachers, they're looking for bus drivers, custodial staff, food service employees, mechanics, paraprofessionals, and patrol officers. The job fairs are all happening from 4:30 to 6:30 this afternoon. These are the locations here on your screen: the Bruce Randolph School, the Northeast Bus Terminal, and the DPS Training Center. Well, I never knew that the people dusted off those dinosaur bones at the Museum of Natural History were not all professionals. Apparently volunteers can do this.
My kid wants to be a scientist. I mean, this is what he wants to do right here. So I think he's got an encyclopedia of dinosaurs.
Really? A lot of kids do.
Yeah.
But you could be dusting off prints too. And we'll get to that.
Amazing.
The Denver Museum of Nature and Science. And there's multiple floors. We're going to get to all of that because there's like thousands and thousands of fossils there. But first, I want to start with what happens when fossils are sent to them, because all these fossils we always hear about that are on the West Coast, a lot of them come to the museum. So the question is,
very delicate.
Very delicate. We'll show you how they wrap them, but the question is, how do you mail a dinosaur?
Okay.
Oh.
This is how. We are at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. Can't you tell? Yeah? Well, maybe you can't because we're in the annex, but this is Natalie. She is part of the dinosaur preparedness team. What would you call it, Natalie?
So I'm the chief fossil preparator, and so I work here in the fossil lab where we clean off the bones, stabilize them, and get them ready for research.
So no one at home has probably realized this, that there's actually been a dinosaur, or a fossil, not a dinosaur, behind us the whole time. What is in this big thing of plaster, Natalie?
So this is what we call a field jacket, and there's a big giant fossil turtle-like tortoise in here that we collected from southern Utah a few years ago. So this is a field jacket from southern Utah.
What does it say?
So ribs and vertebrae, and this means Caparowitz, Ian's hadrosaur. Caparowitz is the name of the rock formation it came from. So this is from one of those big duckbill dinosaurs that has the big tube coming off the top of its head.
Ducky.
Ducky,
Land
you
before
got it,
time.
nailed it, yes.
One of those. So how heavy is this if I wanted to pick it up? Just
It's probably
vertebrae.
like a few hundred pounds. So
Well, they always say to bend your knees when you lift heavy stuff.
that's good, that's good.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on. What is this, like a dinosaur or something?
It's tough, right?
Okay, I'm gonna crack my own vertebrae. Trying to move this one. So I found out after that they moved that with a helicopter.
Wow.
But nobody told me that
Okay,
before I tried to
okay,
pick it
yeah.
up. So there was like a 4,500 pound shipment out of Utah. They had to move. They had to rent a helicopter just to move all the fossils.
Wow.
Yeah, the West Coast is cool. Our little sliver of America, a lot of dinosaurs. And we'll talk about why later. But coming up, like we mentioned, they have volunteers and they have interns. Every day they come in and dust fossil
So
prints.
I could go do that.
You could do it, and your kids would think you were the coolest person ever.
Do you
right?
know what you're dusting off, or do you have to research?
You find out,
This
you're
is
like,
a piece. I don't know what piece of dinosaur
Yeah,
this is.
just don't break it. Yeah.
this is just tinfoil, guys. This is just tinfoil. Sorry. Yeah, no, you find out.
All right, awesome.
Fascinating. Lisa, learn new things about Colorado every day.
I was going to say, Danny is making me a smarter person. Thanks, Danny. Take a
You're
look at
the
our
sun.
dog walking forecast. Low 80s here early this morning. Plenty of sunshine. We're going to see by midday today, and then mid to upper 80s for highs today, right around 5 o'clock. It's going to be a pretty warm one. Those temperatures climbing today to near 90 in some neighborhoods. Dry today, more storms tomorrow. We'll take a closer look at that and what would potentially be a wet weekend. I'll show you when coming up.
Over the last few moments, we just had a crash on northbound I-25 in downtown Denver. Moved from 20th Street. It was sitting right here. The fire department, I watched them all move it off to the highway. Still a little slow. You see the right lane as they're still clearing it off to 38th right now. So maybe an extra minute or two across downtown. Also a new crash for you folks out west at Kipling and I-70. We also still have that big paving project on I-70 getting through Lakeside. Details on that coming up.
Well, if you feel like your entire life is online, you may not be far off. The look at how big our online footprint really is.
Is there life on one of Jupiter's moons? See, researchers might find out soon. I did not mean for that to rhyme. The latest Colorado technology headed to deep space.